Hey, good afternoon. Dennis with FCP right here. I just completed the second version of Dapper Drift and I'd like to tell you all about it. So it took me a long time to complete this one. This one took, I want to say, close to 2 years. Over 2 years, under 2 years, a year and a half. A long amount of time for me. I prefer to get projects done way quicker than that, but what I got on the other end was very well worth it and very interesting, and I consider this project a resounding success. Can't say the same for my own driving ability. These things will either materialize over time or they won't. All I can do at this point is drive it as frequently as I can and improve my understanding of vehicle handling dynamics and also of driving techniques. So what I'm doing right now is giving you a walk around of the vehicle, showing you angles, showing you how it looks, various things about it, and then we're going to go on the inside and discuss the vehicle. We'll start at the back and work our way forward. So without further ado, this is a W210 chassis Mercedes. This is actually the plate from the original Dapper Drift, but this car is, aside from sharing the same general platform, just being a generation older, this car is actually nothing like the previous car. Right off the bat you can tell this build is quite a bit more serious. This is a Drift rear fill fuel cell by Fuel Safe with a pre-filter, the pump, the post-filter, and also you're starting to be able to tell all of the interior is gone on this one. There's nothing left. In fact, this is not what the rear cell panel looks like. And let's take a look on the inside. Right away you're greeted by the beautiful 8-point Pro 2 level cage fabricated by Drift Cave. Huge shout out to Drift Cave. They consistently supported me on this build and they really helped make this car something truly special. Over here is the AGM battery, currently exposed but generally comes with a piece of tinted Lexan that covers it. A fabricated rear firewall, also closed up at the top over here. And right immediately in front of this guy, you're seeing Sparco Halo seats, Circuit 2, I believe these are called, and a center mount fire extinguisher. So the interior is damn near completely stripped, and the only thing I left are the door panels for some semblance of streetability and also to stay out of officers' sight. Try to maintain a low profile because this car is actually street registered. More on that later. There is a sunroof moonroof delete. This is a piece of 1/4 inch. No, this is not 1/4 inch. This is 3/16 inch. Tinted Lexan that is sealed with rib nuts and some adhesive electrical tape. Here you're starting to see the build really come into its full color. So you see fabricated mounts for the seats, and you see this beautiful Drift Cave logo tack welded right onto the cage. Their signature door bar style and the anti-intrusion extension over there going to the floor. I hastily milled the aluminum floors for this guy. And I also milled the center interior piece right here, which houses the standalone Meyer Racewire fuse box, the switch panel, and the FIA cutoff, which for safety conscious events can actually be hooked up for the externally activatable cutoff switch right here. Pro 2 rules, so when this gets pulled during events, it will actually pull on this lever by way of being secured through this bracket that is custom milled on my CNC. You can also tell that the car runs on Terminator X. That hints at what is coming ahead. For those of you that don't know, you will know very soon. So this is a manual transmission that was never available in this car as well. A pass-through hydraulic brake going to the factory calipers in the rear. Custom adapter for a Holley Pro Dash that mounts right to the factory bolt locations on the steering column. Custom adapter here, the quick release you can see. That is a factory steering wheel core milled down and threaded to accept the NRG quick release. And what else can I tell you? And the clutch hydraulics, you can see the clutch pedal is a weirdo, hanging a little lower than the other two. And more on that in a hot second. The ECU lives right under here, and the entire vehicle uses the Meyer Racewire standalone chassis harness. Over here you are getting the very nice touch of custom milled mirror adapters. These are FIA spec mirrors, tiny bit of weight reduction, but mostly a stylistical consideration. We retain the mono wiper and the factory hood line. Doesn't suggest anything unusual on the outside, except you're starting to see that Driftcave has fabricated me hood pins that are lockable, and in fact this entire bumper houses a bash bar, and these are quick releases as well. Here is the most interesting part of the car. That is a GM LS platform Vortec truck motor. Comes as no surprise to anybody who knows anything about drifting, but this is a fascinating, wonderful engine for street use. This is a 5.3 liter with all of the standard treatment done to it. It has a front sump oil pan from Kenton Racing that is baffled. It has upgraded higher flow oil pump. It is resealed almost completely. It has what's called a stage 2 cam. It has upgraded valve springs. But other than that, this is the entire truck intake system, as well as the truck accessory drive and all of the truck accessories fitting right under the factory hood line, which is absolutely fascinating. This is testament to the W210 engine bay and general layout. We'll talk about the suspension in a tiny bit, but you see all of the factory electrics and things like that are completely gutted. We have a little bit of relays here. We have a little bit of a fuse distribution thing here. A 3-channel hydraulic brake system that uses a manual proportioning valves here with a low-level brake switch here. Over here we have a 3-quart AccuSump system. Pardon the appearances, this is going to look a little bit better. Currently it's not fully complete. I'm going to end up trimming this plastic piece, and there's still a piece of the firewall that I need to close up to be proper and be safe. You're also seeing the Driftcave front fabrication efforts here. They plated and reinforced the strut mount right here, and it connects to the frame rail over here. We are running open wheel well, which is my preference, and you see a lot of steel bar fabrication efforts here. These are hood catch pins and custom mounts for everything. Custom mount for the radiator, custom aluminum shroud, 2 Mishimoto fans. But if you notice, if you know anything about these cars, this is actually the factory radiator, and this is the factory overflow. So should I get into any kind of a crash, factory parts will fit right in here with minimum downtime. And of course the other reason to do this is to be covered by the FCP Euro lifetime replacement guarantee. Huge fan of that. If you don't know, this car is sponsored by FCP Euro. In fact, I work for FCP Euro, and I absolutely had to keep it in the family with as many components as I could in that regard. This is a custom fabricated mount for power steering cooling. This puppy's cold. For street, this is definitely not necessary, but for drift events, I was told this is something I should definitely consider, and so we went for it. And there you have it. So this is a complete standalone system with custom stainless 2.5-inch exhaust all the way back. The clever thing about the exhaust is that it's actually terminated before the rear axle, and the exits on the exhaust sure if you can see that point at the rear wheel, so this will blow the smoke out sideways. This should be really interesting. Also, the way the exhaust is set up, it produces a very interesting note. There's no crossover or anything like that. The differential is welded. There are toe and camber arms in the rear. There are camber arms in the front, and I'll actually be able to show you. I don't know if you can see that. There are angle mods in the front. They are, let's call them stage 1 angle mods, where the knuckle is modified with a more aggressive pickup. The inner tie rods are extended for the extra reach. The outer tie rods are flipped left to right. So normally that bent part would point toward the pivot point. Now it points outward for more clearance on that. And you can see this car is running BC kit, BC springs and BC shocks. It's a nifty little kit, one of the few available for this platform. Comes in at the same price point as everything else of $1,000, and so far has been working excellent. That is a quick 5-10 minute summary of what exactly I have done on this car. If you guys have questions, if there's anything I left out, let me know. This is my most favorite thing on four wheels I have ever driven, or that I have had any fabrication or direction input in. I absolutely love this car. This is Dapper Drift version 2. I also made a later generation E-Class drift car, which was Dapper Drift version 1. That car actually ended up becoming a Speed Hunters feature, so if you want to learn more about that one, you'll be able to find it pretty quickly on their website.